Guilt is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. It can motivate extraordinary acts of kindness, sacrifice, and repair. But in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon, a tool for control that leaves no visible marks but causes damage that can last decades. By the end of this video, we will go through exactly how guilt tripping works on a psychological level, why certain people are more vulnerable to it than others, the specific phrases and patterns that manipulators use, and much more. There is a difference between genuine guilt and manufactured guilt. Genuine guilt arises when a person has actually done something wrong. They violated their own values. They hurt someone they care about. They failed to meet a reasonable expectation. This kind of guilt is healthy. It signals that repair is needed. It motivates apology, change, making things right. Manufactured guilt is different. It is guilt that gets installed from the outside by someone who benefits from the other person feeling bad. It does not arise from actual wrongdoing. It gets created through manipulation. The mechanism is elegant and cruel. First, an expectation is established, often unspoken, sometimes impossible to meet. You should have known what I needed. You should always be available. You should never put your own needs first. Second, when that expectation is not met, disappointment is expressed, not as direct anger. That would be too honest. Instead, it comes as hurt, sadness, wounded confusion. After everything I have done for you, I just thought you cared about me more than that. I guess I know where I stand now. Third, the target of this display is left to fill in the gap. They must now figure out what they did wrong. They must apologize even if they do not fully understand for what. They must make amends even though no actual harm was done. The genius of guilt tripping is that it puts all the work on the victim while the manipulator maintains plausible deniability. They never demanded anything. They never threatened. They just expressed their feelings. How can that be manipulation? But feelings can be performed. Disappointment can be weaponized. And the target, who has been conditioned to prioritize the manipulator's emotions, scrambles to fix a problem that was never real. Certain people are more vulnerable to this than others. Empathetic people who naturally attune to others' emotions. They feel the manipulator's displayed hurt and immediately want to make it stop. Their capacity for care becomes the very mechanism of their control. People who were raised with conditional love. If affection in childhood depended on meeting parental expectations, guilt becomes hardwired as the price of connection. The pattern feels familiar even when it is toxic. People with a strong sense of responsibility. They take ownership of situations that are not their fault. They assume that if someone is upset, they must have done something wrong. They apologize reflexively even when they are the wronged party. Guilt trippers learn to identify these vulnerabilities, often unconsciously. They gravitate toward people who will respond to their tactics. They test boundaries early to see who will cave. The phrases are consistent across relationships and contexts. I never ask you for anything. This is designed to make any single request feel impossible to refuse, even if they ask for things constantly. After all I have sacrificed for you. This reframes normal relationship behavior as extraordinary sacrifice that must be repaid indefinitely. I guess I just love you more than you love me. This is a trap. Disagreeing sounds defensive. Agreeing requires taking blame. There is no winning response. I am not angry, just disappointed. Disappointment is framed as worse than anger. It cannot be argued with. It sits there, sad and heavy, until the target does something to lift it. Fine, do whatever you want. This is not permission. It is a test. Acting on it will be punished later with increased guilt about how hurtful it was that you actually did what you wanted. Each of these phrases puts the target in a no-win situation. They cannot defend without seeming callous. They cannot ignore without seeming uncaring. The only way to escape the discomfort is to comply. And once compliance becomes the pattern, the trap is set. Breaking free from guilt tripping requires recognizing manufactured guilt for what it is. Asking the question, did I actually do something wrong, or am I being made to feel like I did? There is often a gap between those two things. It requires tolerating the manipulator's displayed disappointment without rushing to fix it. This is harder than it sounds. Every instinct screams to make the bad feeling stop, but sitting with the discomfort reveals something important. The disappointment is a performance designed to produce a specific response. It requires accepting that some people will call you selfish for having boundaries, cruel for saying no, cold for not responding to every manipulation with immediate compliance. Those labels are part of the tactic. They are designed to keep you in line. Real relationships do not require manufactured guilt to function. Real love does not depend on one person feeling perpetually indebted. Real connection allows for disagreement, for boundaries, for the word no. Guilt tripping masquerades as love. It uses the language of care and sacrifice and devotion. But underneath, it is about control. Recognizing the difference is the first step to freedom.